Hi everyone, it's Community Manager Rocio here to talk you through some of the questions you had around crafting. We answered some of your questions in our community post yesterday, so be sure to check those out as well. We received a ton of really awesome suggestions, but one in particular that stood out because a lot of you are really wanting to channel your inner raccoons, was rummaging through the trash for materials. While we don't have that as an option for actual crafting materials quite yet, we love the suggestion. We do have this option available for those of you who would like to rummage through the trash. So here you see Ollie is looking through his own trash, admittedly, but he's looking through the trash. He found a book. He can go ahead and read the book. It's fully functional, and that is a way that you can go around town and find items. So as we're looking at ways to add to this gameplay, we're absolutely noting your feedback on crafting. And do be careful when you go dumpster diving because it is gross. You can see that his hygiene is dropping rather fast. And like he said, ew, stinky. And as much as I'm sure this bread is delicious, I did not want him to eat this trash bread. So I sold it online. Let's get that out of here. And he already wants to go take a shower. So I did interrupt him on his way to the shower to answer another question you all had, which is where is knitting? Knitting is still in the game, don't worry. It is a little bit under construction right now, so ignore the blocks. Unlike the crafting that we went over last week through the crafting table, this one actually comes from the knitting needles that you have in your inventory. Another major difference is how you acquire the materials for this type of crafting. As of right now, you don't have to go digging in the mountains or on the beach to find yarn. You can order yarn online, or you can go to the store. I believe Rod's shown at the cafe where you can actually just buy yarn while you go get your coffee. As a knitter myself, I also like to stay indoors to knit, so I'm all for this. You also might see here that his knitting skill is increasing. Like the other crafts, there is still a skill associated with it where you unlock better things to knit as you get better. You can also wear or sell your items. As some of you have realized, this is very similar to cooking, which we will do a deep dive on, so hold tight there. But I did want to take a second to show you this menu because it's very similar to the crafting menu where you have your recipes, each of which have a different level. So as you get better at cooking, you unlock new recipes. Here, Ollie is improving slowly but surely, but he is unfortunately very bad at cooking and he can only make a couple of recipes. He's making a salad. Wanted to take a moment to just appreciate some of the animations that are starting to come together. We're going to continue to work on them into early access and of course during early access. And once we're in early access, we can talk to you all about which animations you'd like to see going forward and see what kind of things you mod into the game as well. Another common question we received was, where can you store your stuff? Because obviously by the end of that video, Willem had dozens of different crafting materials in his inventory. And yes, there are places to store your things. Here I'm showing you with a wooden dresser where you can see it holds up to 6 things. You can even see here that this particular shirt I've gone ahead and customized and it shows the color palette in case you have multiples of the same thing. There's also different filters for whatever you store, including categories as well as subcategories if you have a lot of different things in there. I'm going to go ahead and return that shirt to Ollie. But in this case, for this example, I used a dresser which contains clothing. There are other types of items which store different categories of items. Now let me put that shirt back on. Thank you, Ollie. Sorry about that. And let's move on to the next question. So Ollie is at his computer right now to answer a couple of different questions. The first one that I wanted to answer is actually related to the types of things that you can grow. When we grew those flowers, we did receive the question of, can you grow your own food? And yes, you can grow your own food. Here you can see that I'm buying different types of seeds to eventually grow in my garden. And this feature is under construction right now, so I'm sure we're going to have Willem back eventually for a video on what it all looks like when it's completed. That's not going to stop me from buying every single seed that's available. Just because I can. I gave Ollie so much money. Let's use it. And you might have already noticed from previous videos, but there are 2 ways to buy. You can go ahead and click just buy or add to your shopping cart in case you're not sure what you want and you want to adjust the totals later. There is one more question that I wanted to answer for this video, and that is, can you just buy the materials that you need to craft with instead of going out and finding these troves? While you can't find every crafting component online or in shop, you can buy certain materials. There are two different shops that I'm going to show you in this video that you can buy materials from. Here is Crafting Warehouse. You might recognize some of these from Willem's video. You can go ahead and buy the seashell here in case you need it, as well as any yarn or any knitting needles that you might need for your knitting. And like I said, Holly is very wealthy right now, so let's buy that cashmere, let's buy that alpaca yarn. I think he can make the nicest little sweaters for himself as long as he has all of the materials he needs. And you might notice that certain categories of crafting may be harder to find items in shop for, such as archaeology. You're going to want to go out into the world and dig for that. And for these items, I'm just clicking one-click buy. That doesn't mean they just show up in my inventory like magic. You do still have to wait for the shipping truck to deliver them. And I wanted to show you one more shop, which I can definitely say the name of. She Sells Seashells, where they exclusively sell seashells. So you might see how you can create your own specialty shop around whatever niche item you'd like to add to the game. And that's it for this week's video. Thank you all so much for watching and for all of your suggestions on last week's video. Hope you have a great weekend and see you next time.